Okay, so yeah, I showed Kai this movie. They've never seen it before, and yeah, this seemed like a very important thing to show them. The reaction was about what you guys would expect. You can what
I want to preface this by saying that I like movies that, the general audience or the general internet doesn't like. Like, I don't want to just like or dislike something because, it is, you know, majority liked or majority disliked. Um, but this, I should have just listened to the warning I was given by the fact that it was rated what, like,
a 4.
it was rating a
4 out
4,
of 10.
a 4 out of 10 on fucking IMDb, and like 2 out of 5 stars on the
No, that said I think the one that we saw was like a 1.2 out of 5.
1.2 out of 5. It was bad, and I can say with full confidence this shit was ass. It was an hour and a half of nothing. Of absolutely nothing. But
Everything was wrong.
everything was
Everything is
wrong. And what makes it worse is that there were good scenes in this movie. I liked how when they actually are getting, it's just there's gonna be spoilers. This channel is like pro spoiler. So if you want to watch this movie for yourself, even though it was almost fucking 7 years ago and you shouldn't, go ahead and leave and come back. But for those who don't give a fuck like the only good scenes I will give it is that the scenes where they actually, go to the other dimensional planet and they, the shit goes wrong when they're coming back and they get transformed, and the, terror and body horror of that, they did that really well. They did great with that. Like fucking, what's your name on the left? Reed.
Read.
The Reed, he's like crawling, trying to crawl from under the rubble to reach Ben, who's like, crushed under the weight of his own body and his skin now. And he turns to look at, like, look at his surroundings and sees that his fucking leg is a mile away from him. Then he wakes up, his arms are fucking on different sides of the fucking room. He's sweating, he's perspirating. You can see the veins in his fucking like forehead. And then he fucking slides out of the restraints, goes to see Ben. This man's a rock and can barely move. He's reaching up to him like Reed, you gotta help me. That was scary. Then you see fucking Michael B. Jordan.
He's just on fire.
He's just on fire, which is terrifying because he's like waking up looking at his burning corpse, and he like emits a solar flare. Then he has to look his dad in the eye, like, look at what happened to me because I listened to what you had to say. Sue's just literally in and out of consciousness and also this earthly realm. But that's not really tapped into that much. Like, that's another thing. Their powers just don't feel
genuine. It doesn't feel like they like had any time to develop. We just see them get the powers and panic, and then we jump cut to them training.
Yeah, like fucking, we don't even see fucking Reed train. We just he's fucking gone for a year in their, in their time, and we see him again. He can shapeshift his face to look like someone completely different. He knows how to fight with his limbs now. How the fuck he learned how to do that? Who knows? Fucking, and with the like final battle with fucking Victor is a whole other rant that I'm gonna go on. But when they do a final fight with fucking Victor, he don't do shit. Like, Mara already got a bias for people with stretchy powers. He hates them. I
I
think they're
can't
okay, but
stand.
he hates them. And I would understand it if a lot of the other fucking stretchy characters felt like Reed in this movie, because he doesn't do shit
But that's
but
the
throw
thing.
slow ass punches.
That's the thing. All stretchy characters are just the same. He didn't do anything.
There are some stretchy characters that I like where it's like
There's
executed
one.
well.
There is one good stretchy character.
Who?
Miss Incredible.
I wasn't even thinking about Mrs. Incredible, but yes, she is a good stretchy character. And you know why? Because her fighting is still dynamic. Like, yes, she's throwing punches, but she's also doing backflips and like stretching her body to go in between people. And she's very quick. He was so goddamn slow when he used his powers in this fucking movie. He was like going in slow motion. The punches that he did throw, it didn't feel like they had any impact behind them. It was just very like, he was just like like whenever he was throwing a fucking punch, and he don't even throw that many in the first place. And so I don't know. I just, it was
The movie is an hour and a half, and the first hour of the movie, there's no Fantastic Four fighting.
no, not at all. They
We spend more of the movie of him building this fucking portal.
Yes, it was fucking,
do.
it was more focused on how they actually, on the process of them getting their powers than them actually training and learning to use their powers, especially as a team, because before their fucking final battle, they haven't seen each other in a fucking year, so how the fuck do they know how to coordinate with each other's powers? And even the three that were training their powers, fucking Ben has been a fucking war criminal this entire fucking time.
Not a war criminal. He was a war what's the word I'm looking for? Where you're fighting for the war. You're like a
He's a super soldier, for a lack of better word. And it's not even really touched on how that would affect him mentally. Like, it's briefly where he's like watching a recap of one of the missions that he goes on, and it says confirm kill 43, but it just seems so nonchalant. Another thing, it didn't feel like a lot of the time people were reacting properly to what should have been very like sentimental or like emotional moments.
the only person who seemed to be actually acting in like his emotion was Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. He saw Reed, and he seemed like the only person who was actually cared that Reed was back. He
Gave Reed a hug.
Everybody else was like upset that Reed was there, but Michael B. Jordan and his dad was like, we missed you and we're glad you're here.
Like, how did the dude that he technically had only met working on this fucking thing give him a hug before Ben, who has known this dude since he was like fucking 8?
And Ben and Reed knowing each other since they was 8, only for him to just be so easily manipulated by the military guy when
made
when Reed leaves. Like,
no goddamn sense.
It took little under like 30 seconds. It was like, Reed's gone, so you may as well just help us. Okay.
Okay.
Like it was that easy, and it shouldn't have been.
And he didn't even ask, like, what have you been doing? Like, what happened? Why were you gone so long? And Reed tried to explain it, but he, like, just didn't even want to talk. And it's not even, like, in their fight scene, they didn't have time to talk. They are sitting in a fucking helicarrier with Reed in a goddamn microwave box, like, right next to each other. They could have had a fucking conversation then, but it was just fucking Ben being like, no talk me, I angy, for the entire fucking time. It was just so goddamn stupid.
No, the next thing I wanted you to point out to you is the suits.
The suits?
Mostly the Thing being naked the whole time.
Butt ass naked the whole fucking movie. I literally pointed out at like fucking like an hour or something into this movie that I could see the Thing's ass crack. So it's like, it's not even like the whole it's his body, but also his suit. He has an ass crack. He can shit, but he's not wearing any fucking pants.
And Reed, for some reason, has slinky wires.
Yeah, he like built his own fucking suit or whatever, and
they're
Sue's
nothing,
arms are out.
and they're nothing. They're just nothing like the comic book suits.
It's just
which you've seen.
They're
the regular,
barely. Yeah, I have.
You've seen the regular Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yes.
So their suits in the comic books look exactly like that.
They're barely blue.
It's like a Man of Steel version.
It's like the darkest fucking shade of navy blue they could fucking manage to make it somewhat blue. The bluest thing is Susan's fucking powers, and it's not even like she did not have enough time to actually develop her fucking powers to do the fucking final battle that they did in this fucking movie. She's still figuring out how to balance herself in her fucking like little bubble or whatever. By the end of the movie, she's like hiding herself and like floating and shit.
Trying to figure out how to balance herself, but can't even balance her damn hair. Why is it?
Why did her hair change length? Her hair was like at her ears at the beginning of the movie. Then in the middle of the movie, it like got a little bit longer. Then a year goes by and it's like in a ponytail. So I was like, okay, so her hair's gonna be long now. Then another scene comes and it's back at her fucking shoulders. I was so confused. Why didn't they give this woman a wig if she was gonna be willy-nilly with her fucking hair this whole fucking movie? Like, I don't understand what was going on. Speaking of the costuming department, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
I have several problems with Victor, but I will first start with his design. I don't understand where his little hood that he has on comes from, because sure, he dived into the green goop and it like fused his suit with his body. Sure. But
there was no cloth on that suit.
There was no cloth on that suit, so I don't know.
There's no reason for him to have a cloak.
And he shows up with the cloak. Where the fuck he got it, I don't know. But then
I'm gonna assume when he entered the thing, they carried him off. He's in that bed. He kills everybody. He goes back into the thing to go back to his world, and he has the cloak on again. The only thing I can assume is that they left the cloak on the ship for some reason.
That still begs the question where the fuck he got it. Because there was only rock and that plasma ooze on that fucking planet. Yeah. So, and it's not implied that there's any beings who know how to sew on that fucking planet. So where the fuck he got that, I don't know. I legit got no clue. But moving on from his design, his fucking backstory and motives is so goddamn dumb. Like, as far as I understood, Victor Von Doom did the shit that he did in the name of his like fucking home country.
First of all, he's Romanian.
He's Romani, so, and they didn't even imply that in this fucking movie.
That man was from Canada.
He was from Canada. He was from
Oklahoma,
Vermont, Massachusetts, somewhere.
Fucking Washington, D.C.
He was from Wyoming. He was anywhere in America, but he was not where he should be from. And his whole thing where he's like, he's like repping the alien planet now or whatever because he fused
by himself.
With it by himself.
And that's like the problem, because Dr. Doom is like the king of his country, and he fights for his country and his people. This Doom has no people. He has his own planet.
His literal thing was like, I'm always alone. I did this alone. When they go to the planet, he's like, I did it. I made it. He was just fucking lame. He was lame.
It was an awful character.
It was
Just in general.
awful. And he's supposed to be like this fucking mighty, powered, terraforming man, but then his own tower collapses on him, and then he's just gone.
Yep.
He's just gone. Just like that. Resolved in fucking 15 minutes by this.
A Fantastic Four main villain he's killed in 15 minutes. One of the most powerful sorcerers just ever. This man was able to just rip Thanos' spine out of his body and turn him into dust, but got killed by rocks in this movie.
It was just. I wish I could get the time that I exuded watching this movie back, but I can't. And so I'm making this in that time's honor. It's just, don't watch that movie. You know what? Actually, do watch it.
Because just don't if you're a writer, or if you are somebody who is trying to, like...
If you want to put out media that is in this genre, watch this movie to know
what not to do.
Everything that they did, don't do it.
Do none of it.
If you think this seems similar to Fantastic Four 2015, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Just don't. It's not worth it. Oh my god, bro.
I think that's good. I think we.
My face burns.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the cue. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Fuck everybody involved with this except Michael B. Jordan. He carried this movie on his fucking spinal cord.
He did. See you guys later.
Bye.